It seems like it was just Christmas and we're already at Valentine's. Where does the time go? What's going on, YouTube? This is episode 15 on the Post Points channel. I want to give you some suggestions, good date fragrances for Valentine's Day. There's a couple of things I'm going to assume. The first thing that I'm going to assume is that the young lady is going to like fragrances that are a little on the sweet side. Two, I'm going to assume that the weather is going to be a little cooler. This week, I think the highs are going to be in the 50s here, lows in the 30s. So I'm going to assume that the weather is going to be a little on the colder side. And thirdly, I'm going to pick fragrances that aren't monsters in the performance category. There are fragrances that people want to come in and get closer to you versus a clubbing fragrance or something like that that's going to push out. I heard someone say once that a fragrance should be discovered and not announced. I think that will hold true, especially on date fragrances. You want your fragrance to entice her, reward her for being close versus pushing out, trying to get attention. With that, let's get started with the list. Now, I have 7 fragrances on this list and 1 honorable mention. And that honorable mention comes from the House of English Laundry, and it's Windsor. The reasons that this is on the honorable mention list is because I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think it's a mass appealing fragrance. I said in my haul video, this is a new acquisition for me, that this gives me images of like Barry White and like a crushed velvet jacket. Think like Hugh Hefner in his smoker's jacket with a cigar. And that's not for everybody. Again, I think it's more suited for like an older, mature gentleman. But I think a really sexy fragrance an older gentleman can pull off. Now, the next fragrance on my list is considered a bargain bin fragrance. And it's from the House of Guess, believe it or not. And it's called Guess Seductive. Now, besides the name being seductive, this is actually a nice fragrance. This is a blend of amber and pink pepper mainly, but the star of the show in this is Violet Leaf. If you've ever seen any of my videos, I talk about how much I like Violet Leaf, a well done Violet Leaf, and the Violet Leaf in this is actually done pretty well. It's still dark, but not too dark in the performance. It's gonna sit closer to the skin, and it's gonna reward her for getting close to you. I think I bought this at TJ Maxx for it was maybe under 20 bucks. It's not a very expensive fragrance. It's not gonna perform crazy either, but again, it kind of suits the bill to entice her to get closer. And when she does, you'll smell really good with that one. Next up on the list is not going to be a surprise, I think, to anybody from the House of YSL, and it's Man of the Night, La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, this one is a bestseller. If you've bought fragrances within the last decade, somebody has tried to sell you this. This is a counterpart to L'Homme by YSL, which is another bestseller. This takes that DNA and just darkens it up a little bit, adds some spice to it. When it dries down, it's slightly powdery, just sexy overall. La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, the only drawback to this is the fact that it's so popular, and that's not a strike at it. I mean, it's one of the best fragrances you can buy, which is why I have 2 bottles of it. But you also run the risk of smelling like somebody else. So on the list, you're gonna have that problem too. But I have to put these on the list just because they are probably some of the best fragrances you can buy for date scenarios. The next one is from the house of Dolce & Gabbana, and it's Dolce & Gabbana the One. I think my wife actually likes the Toilette better than this one. She doesn't like strong fragrances, and this one is a little stronger, and it's actually, I think, a tad bit sweeter too. In my opinion, though, this is probably the better of the two, especially for the scenario, a night out date. This one's a little more appropriate for that, and a very good smelling fragrance. It's dark, it's sweet, and spicy. This is the ultimate close encounter scent because performance-wise, it's not going to push out, it's not going to project far. Again, it's going to reward her the closer she gets to you with that excellent smell. One of the best smelling fragrances I think you can buy, Dolce & Gabbana the One. Next on the list is from the house of Mugler, and it's not one of the ones that are usually on any of these lists if you've done any searching. This one is Flanker Pure Wood. Now, if you think about just the name, you probably think this is, just a heavy hitter, manly, maybe more suited for a different scenario. But there's two things you have to consider with this one. One, the top of this is slightly boozy. There's like this whiskey accord at the top. It's not very in your face. It's kind of fleeting, but it's there. And it smells amazing. And the second thing is there's a heavy dose of vanilla in this. Vanilla comes in and just makes it really smooth. It kind of reminds me of shop class almost. Back in the day, you have shop class and you have this wood dust. You add some smooth, milky vanilla to that wood dust. I know that probably sounds weird. When this thing dries down to the mid, it's a really gorgeous fragrance, and I don't think it gets enough justice for how good this is. A pure wood is, I think, a great option for a date night out fragrance. Now, next up on the list is from one of my favorite houses, my favorite perfumers. When you go to this house, you know you're going to get quality. And the house is MFK, and the fragrance is Satin Mood. Now, so the oud is all the rage now, and naturally it's a sensual, dark, mysterious note, but it's not the easiest to wear. And in my opinion, the house of MFK and the whole oud mood suite are some of the most approachable ouds that you can find. Just think dark, mysterious, and sexy. That's what you get with this fragrance. It's smooth, it's sweet, and it's approachable, but not too artisanal, which a lot of ouds can be, that they become unapproachable. I think he did a very good job of taking the essence of what an oud smells like and making it mass market, if you will. But some of the best quality I think you can find in fragrance you're going to find with the MFK house, and this is no exception. Oud Satin Mood. The next one on my list is from the house of Tom Ford, and Tom Ford private blend. They just keep putting out monsters. It's Noir to Noir. Now this fragrance is another oud fragrance, but it's not a oud based fragrance, so it has oud in it. In the base, there's oud and vanilla. Very sexy once it dries down. That's actually my scent of the night. Up top is rose. Now, when I first heard that it was going to be rose, I was out because I don't like rose. Rose to me signifies old womanish, but not here. This is rose and chocolate. And to take it one step further, it's kind of boozy, so that chocolate comes off more like chocolate liqueur. And you think about all those notes. You think rose, you think chocolate, you think vanilla. It's a sexy fragrance. And with all those notes, it's not overly heavy either. It's very wearable. This is a prototypical date fragrance. I mean, it's Tom Ford. The Private Blend does sexy well. They do dark, mysterious well. A great option for date night. Prototypical date fragrance, Noir de Noir by Tom Ford. The last one on my list is from the house of Valentino, and it's Valentino Uomo. This is another new acquisition for me, but it's quickly climbing on my list of favorites to wear in time, not just in date. When you talk about sexy, you want to talk about dressed up, getting close with that special someone. This is a beautiful fragrance. Combo of hazelnut, chocolate, and roasted coffee. It comes across dark and sensual and upscale. This is probably going to be the one that I'm rocking come Valentine's Day night. That's it. I just wanted to put that list together. Let me know what you're considering wearing for that special evening with that special someone. And as always, if you like the content and feel compelled to do so, give me a thumbs up and a sub. And I will see you guys in the next vid. Reward her for being close.